Good evening, everybody. Welcome back. My name is Chef Sneha, and I am an alumni of the Academy of Pastry and Culinary Arts. As everyone had requested last time when I was doing my Instagram live to do a fish curry, I have kept my promise. And today I'll be taking you to another Malabar coast called the Alleppey, or it is called as Alappuzha. It's from the Travancore district. So for the Alleppey raw mango fish curry, I will take you through the ingredients, and I request everybody to see this Instagram live till the end, because I will be doing 2 platings for this particular fish curry, right? So one will be a rustic one and the other would be a restaurant style one, right? So let me take you through the ingredients for the Alleppey raw mango fish curry. So for the raw mango fish curry, you require coconut oil, you require slit green chilies, curry leaves, ginger, Kashmiri red chili powder, turmeric, raw mango cut into cubes, and slit shallots, or you can use normal onions also. Now to start with the procedure, this is called, I'm using a vessel called as the mud vessel, or in Malayalam what is it called as a manchatti. So most of the people in Kerala use this vessel for their fish and meat curries. This is a wonderful way for making their fish curry because it absorbs a lot of flavor of the mud vessel by itself. So I'm adding in some coconut oil. It's a very easy curry to make. It's a spicy curry and also it is very mild in its flavor because of the coconut milk. The coconut milk gives the sweetness to this curry. So it's very a lovely curry to eat with rice. So I'm letting the oil to get heated for a little bit. Once the oil gets heated up, I'm taking in some ginger. So this ginger, it can be cut finely chopped, or you can grate the ginger, or you can put a paste. If you do not like ginger pieces coming into your mouth, you can make a paste out of it, or you can finely chop your ginger into it. I have finely diced it out and I'm adding it into the oil. You should not let the ginger burn or it should not become brown. It should just saute into it. Ensure that it doesn't give out a brown color, because if it turns out brown, then the whole curry color changes into a brown color curry. Once your ginger is sauteed and you can smell the flavor of the ginger coming out, you can add in your slit green chilies. These chilies are quite spicy, so it depends upon the spiciness that you require. I have taken around 8 green chilies, which I have slit into 2, so it becomes into 16 pieces, and that's what was given in my ingredient list. It's quite spicy. Once that is done, I'm adding in fresh curry leaves. Curry leaf is the most important part in every Kerala cuisine. Once the curry leaves lets out the flavor, I'm adding in the sliced shallots. It's up to your preference how you want your shallots to be. If you do not have shallots, you can also use your normal onions, which you can slice it and you can add into it. Or you do not want the onions to come into your mouth, then you can also finely chop your onions and add into it. I have sliced it because the shallots will let out its sweetness into the curry, and you also have a bite of the onions when you have the fish curry by itself. You have to let the onions cook till it's translucent or till it's little pinkish in color. So till these onions are getting cooked, I have also, what I have done is I have made fish stock out of the fish bones that I'm going to use into the curry. So what I have done is, instead of using normal water, I have used fish stock. To make fish stock, it is nothing but using the bones, the fish head, which is nicely cleaned up, and then putting into a pot of warm water along with onions, carrots, bay leaf, and if you have thyme, you can put thyme into it, or you can have peppercorns and cloves. So you can exempt the thyme, but you can put bay leaf, cloves and peppercorns, and you bring it to a boil, and then you scum out the impurities that come on top of the stock. So after you skim it out and you let it boil for around 45 minutes, you'll get out this, and then strain the mixture, you get this fish stock, right? So instead of water, I am going to use this fish stock because it's got a lot of flavor into it. I'm just going to build up flavors into the fish curry. And if you do not have fish stock, you can also use the second press coconut milk water. So that also builds up the flavor. So you have the option of either using the fish stock or the second press coconut milk or just the normal water.
So Sneha, you have a couple of questions. Number one is Saurabh wants to know what's a thyme.
Thyme is a herb which is used in most of the chicken roast. It's a herb.
Okay, and also he wants to know which fish are you using.
I'm using a swordfish. It's a freshwater fish. It's a oily, round-bodied fish. I need these onions to turn translucent. To quicken up the process, what I can do is I can add a bit of salt into it, so it lets out the moisture and the onions will start sweating out. The whole process of doing this fish curry is just about the boiling and the sauteing of these ingredients. There is no much complications in this fish curry, but the way you saute it and the way you boil it, that's what brings out the flavor of this fish curry.
So Bhupesh wants to know whether are you going to be using tuna or salmon?
No, I'm not using tuna or salmon. If you want, you can use it, but today I got swordfish, which is also a chunky type of a fish. You can use any type of fish in this. You can use mackerels, you can use sardines, which is typically a Kerala type of a fish, or you can use sea bass, you can use the sear fish, which is cut into slices and then added into it. So the preference of the fish is all up to you. Don't take a flat fish like the sole or the flounder or anything. Don't take flat fish. Pomfret also might go, but to give flavor and depth to this particular curry, I think a round body fish like the sear fish or the sea bass or the ravas, that would be most preferential.
Yeah. Once again, Saurabh wants to know, can we replace it with prawns?
Yes, you can do that. You can replace it with prawns too. So as you can see, the onions has become translucent. Now what I'm going to add is the fish stock. You can add a little bit of water also into it, since I do not. So this is also basically a Malabari fish curry. Since Alleppey is famous for its backwaters, canals, you get a lot of fish out there. So this is one of the dishes that comes from Alleppey.
So there's a question, can you send a video to them, or where can they find the video after you're done?
So the video will be telecasted in the IGTV of the Academy of Pastry and Culinary Arts. You can go into the IGTV, or if it's not there, it also gets uploaded on the Academy of Pastry and Culinary Arts India YouTube. So I need this to get to a boil. So once this gets to a boil, before that I need to put in Kashmiri chili powder. In my ingredient list I've also mentioned chili powder, the regular chili powder, but since my green chilies are quite spicy, I'm exempting it and I'm putting the Kashmiri chili powder to give the color. So I'm putting around 3 teaspoons of Kashmiri chili powder into the curry.
Okay, there's a question again about fish stock. How do you make it at home?
So I will tell you the process of how to make the fish stock at home. Let me just finish these ingredients. After putting these Kashmiri red chili powder, I'm putting in quarter teaspoon of haldi powder. A little more, because it gives the actual color of the curry is like a sunset yellow color. Now I need this curry to get to a boil. So I'm closing the curry so that it gets to a boil. Okay, so let me recap the process for doing the fish stock. When you get the fish, you just take the bones and the head of the fish, nicely clean it, take out all the impurities, the blood that is there found in the bones of the fish. Once you clean them up, in a pot, in a big vessel, you add in a little bit of butter and oil, and then you put in onions and carrot. Once that sautés a little bit, do not brown it, you just need to saute it. You add in the fish bones and the fish head into the stock pot. Once you put that, add in warm water into the fish, into that pot. Along with that, you can put in bay leaf, you can put in cloves, and you can put in peppercorns. So these are the 3 spices that goes into an Indian fish stock curry, right? And let it come to a boil. It should not get into a rolling boil, it should simmer. You should see that small bubbles. So when you see those small bubbles coming out, you will also see the impurities that is being floating on the surface of the stock. What you have to do is, do not mix it in. You have to remove that scum and throw it off. It is the impurities that you will get from the fish stock, right? You have to continuously remove the fat as well as the scum from the fish stock. Let it boil for 45 minutes. Once 45 minutes is over, you have to strain it, double strain it. That is, if you have a muslin cloth, put it over a strainer and then strain the fish stock into another vessel. And you need to chill it out. If you're using it on the same day, you can put it into the fish curry. If you're not using it on the same day, you have to get down the temperature of the fish stock and refrigerate it, and you can use that fish stock the next day. So this is the way that you make your fish stock at home. If you do not have a fish stock, what you can do is you can use the second press of the coconut milk. As I had informed you last time also, when you're making coconut milk, there are two ways that there are 2 parts that you can take the coconut milk. The first one is a thick coconut milk, that is the first press, and once you dilute the residue of the coconut with more water, what you will be squeezing out is the second press coconut milk. So you can also use the second press coconut milk to enhance the flavor. What is essential in making up this curry is to build up the flavor in the fish curry. You can also, if you're not having these ingredients, you do not need to worry. You can still make this curry by using normal water.
There's one question from Naveed. He is asking how much quantity of fish stock or water is to be used for a portion of 4 people.
So around 2 cups of fish stock, 2 cups of fish stock you can use for a portion of 4 people. You can see this boiling, but I can still get the aroma of the rawness of the chili powder. So you need to let it boil for some more time so that you can take away the rawness of the chili powder. At this point, what you can do is, I have cubed out these raw mangoes. I have taken out the skin. People who like the skin can put in with the skin, but I do not prefer the skin on because it gives the bitterness to this curry. So I've removed the skin and I've cubed it out and I'm putting it into the curry.
Also another question, what is the difference between Kashmiri Mirch and Degi Mirch?
Kashmiri Mirch is mostly of the, it has less spice and more color. It gives a color to the curry. It does not have that much spiciness into its in the chilies. And Degi Mirch is got spiciness into the powder. It's all about the color. I'm adding a little bit of more turmeric powder. Now I'm going to let it boil again, right? What I have done is, usually once you put boil this curry, you put in raw fish into the curry and boil it. What I have done is, since I have to speed up this process, I have fried my fish and kept it ready so that it does not take time to boil in the curry. So I've put a little bit of haldi and salt and I've fried the fish. That's up to your preference how you want your fish to be. You want the fish to roll into the curry, or you want it to be fried and then put it into the curry. That's up to your preference. To speed up the process, I have done this.
There's another question, is it the earthenware you're cooking in? Is it good to use?
Yes, it is definitely good to use. You go to any household in Kerala, you will see everybody having this mud vessel to make their meat dishes or seafood dishes.
Also, there's another question, why didn't we put powder masala in the oil to cook then?
You can do it, but I usually put it in the fish stock itself and get it to a rolling boil. Powdered masala in the oil, it's a different process altogether. For this particular process, I do not necessarily do it this way. That way, I put the masalas into the water or the fish stock and then get it into a rolling boil. It's the same process. You have to cook the masalas eventually. Either you put it into the oil and cook the masala, or you put it into the water and get it into a boil and let the rawness of the masala goes off.
How do you make sure that the fish has been cooked?
You have to take out a piece and check it out. Take out a piece and see if the fish is cooked. It become opaque and the inside is still white, and it is not like that slimy type. It is quite opaque and a little bit stiff, and it is opaque in color. You have to test it out. You have to take a piece of the fish and test it out, and then you'll know. And the fish doesn't take time to cook. It hardly takes around 5 to 10 minutes to cook the fish. If it's a nice fish, it hardly takes time to cook. And one more thing that I want to say is, if you're putting raw fish into the curry, never stir the curry. What you do is, you actually take a cloth like this, right? You hold it this way and you swirl the vessel. This will not break the fish, right? So whenever you put the fish into the vessel, never stir it, otherwise it will break the fish. You always stir it and just put the liquid on top of it, so it absorbs all the flavor into the curry. A little more time.
Is the fish marinated?
When I fried the fish, yes, I marinated the fish with before frying. I marinated the fish with haldi and salt. If you're not frying the fish, what you can do is, you can directly dunk the fish into the curry, because the fish will absorb all the masalas into it. And preferably, fish curries are always eaten one day later. If you're doing it today, you can have it tomorrow for lunch, because what happens is, the fish will absorb the curry into it and the taste is much better. So if you're making it in the night, you can have it for tomorrow afternoon, or if you're making it in the morning, you can have it for the night.
Saurabh is asking, what's the thickening agent in the curry?
So the coconut milk, the first press coconut milk will thicken the curry. Most of them have asked me that while putting the coconut milk, whether the coconut milk will split. So there's a hack to ensure that the coconut milk should not split. Is to put a little bit of corn flour into the coconut milk, a little bit, not too much, or otherwise it will become into a thick slug. What you do is, you mix a little bit of corn flour into the coconut milk and you put it into the curry. So the corn flour also will get the thickness, and you will ensure that your coconut milk does not split. What I do is, this is one way. What I do is, I normally take it out of the heat, and then after I cool it for a while, I then put in the coconut milk. Not cool it, I get it into a normal temperature, and I keep on mixing the curry and then adding it slowly into the I add in the coconut milk into it. So now is the time where I put in my fish. This is not fully cooked, I have just partially cooked it. So once I put in the fish, I will not stir it, because these are quite chunky fish. If I stir it, then I will break my fish, which you do not want.
Naveed has also made a great point on stirring the vessel to retain the shape and the texture of the fish pieces.
Thank you. See, now what I'm doing is just moving this so that I do not break the fish. I'll just chase the salt. A little more salt into it. If there's one more thing that I want to say, if you do not have the raw mango which is quite sour, because for this curry you require a mango which is quite sour, because that is where you get the sourness into the curry. But if you do not have that sour mangoes, because now it's on the season, what you can do is, there is a tamarind called as a Malabar tamarind, which in Malayalam it is called as Kodampuli. It's like kokum, but it is called the Malabar tamarind. You can get it at any South Indian store. If you tell a Malabar tamarind, you'll get it. It's like kokum. So but that will give the sourness. You have to just take one piece, put it in warm water and take out the liquid and add it into the curry. So that will give you the sourness if your raw mango is not that sour. But if your raw mango is sour, as my mangoes are quite sour, I do not have to use that tamarind. If your mangoes are not that sour, then you can put that tamarind into it. Sorry.
There's also a question about what's the traditional name of this dish?
It is called the Alleppey raw mango fish curry.
And also Bhupesh, I think, asking to his previous question, with coconut milk, if it becomes sweet, what if we don't want a sweet curry?
It will not become that sweet. Your freshly grated coconut milk will not become that sweet. It just gives a tinge of that sweetness. So I'm just taking it out from the flame a bit because I need to add in my coconut milk. So I'm just taking the fishes on the side. I'm slowly, Anand, can you take that? Adding the I'm ensuring that I don't break the fish. I'm making a small well in the center. And then just rotating in one place itself. Because if I just put the coconut milk and do not emulsify it nicely, then there are chances to get it split. So what I'm doing is I'm just taking a place where I don't see any fish and I'm just rotating in one place. Can you see this nice mango yellow color curry? So now I'll just bring this to a simmer. So once this is happening, I have already done a batch of the fish curry previously because this is going to take a while to get to a boil. So as you can see, Anand, can you show that? This is the consistency of the fish curry that you will be getting. See this? Did everybody see? Please give me a thumbs up if everybody has seen the consistency of the fish curry and the color of the fish curry. This is without the fish. I've just made the curry to show you how it will actually look. Right? So what I will do now, this is going to get to a boil now. I'm just going to keep this aside. Right? And I'm going to start plating.
There is also a question, what happens if you rotate it anti-clockwise?
You can rotate in any which ways that you want. You can rotate it straight or you can rotate it anti-clockwise or clockwise. So this is the actual fish curry. You have nothing else to do. Once it comes to a single boil, you switch it off and cover it, and that's how your fish curry is done. Now I'll get on to the plating of the fish curry. So as I promised you, I'll be doing two types of plating. One is a rustic way of plating the fish curry that I will be showing it to you. The other is a fine dining type of a plating which I've attempted to do to show it to you, right? So let's get on with that. So first I'll show you how to do a rustic way of plating the fish curry. So I'm taking the fish. Anand? So what I'm doing right now is I'm filling in the center of the plate with the fish. And then I'm going to spoon it over everywhere. Can you see? Right? Once I've done that, I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of fenugreek seed powder which I have roasted. The methi seeds, you roast it a little while and then powder it. That will give a bit of bitterness to the particular dish. So you just sprinkle a little bit on top of it. Then is there any question, Anand? Once I've done that, I'm putting on these fried onion shallots, fried shallots on top. This will give an extra sweetness to the curry if your curry is too spicy.
So Aditi is asking, what's the dish name?
This is called the Alleppey raw mango fish curry.
And also her subsequent question was, is it a bit too oily?
No, it is not at all oily. I've made a fan from the mango thing. I'm adding that into this, and I'm adding a bit of your curry leaf into it. So this is one type of a plating of the Alleppey fish curry. Now I'll attempt to show you how I'm going to do a fine dining or a restaurant style fish curry plating.
So there's also a question, is the fenugreek seeds powder a substitute to kesuri methi?
It is not a substitute. You do not put kasuri methi into the fish curry of any Kerala fish curry. Kerala fish curry always has roasted fenugreek powder at the end that enhances the flavor of the curry itself.
Again, another question, did you use coconut oil?
Yes, I did use coconut oil. So now I'll be doing my plating for the restaurant style thing. So what I've done is I had another fish called the tilapia fish with the skin on. So I've done a crispy skin side. I have fried it crispy on the skin side, and I have given a brown color on the flesh of the skin. So what I'll be doing is, in this particular plate, in the center I have added the rice, right? This is raw mango, which I have added some salt and chili powder, as you get it in the beaches, right? The salt and the chili powder with your raw mango that you eat it. I have added the same thing into this. I'll be adding it here first. So here goes my mango. So these are the individual the ingredients that is found in the curry. I have broken down and made it, so you'll know what goes into the curry. So this is what I've done. Now what I'll do is, I'll add this crispy skin fish on top. Can everybody see? Next, what I will be doing is, these are the fried shallots that are fried in coconut oil, and just like the biryani brista, the fried onions, I have done it exactly the same. I'm going to add this onto the fish. This is fried ginger juliennes. I have finely julienned the ginger, and in hot coconut oil I have just fried it off, and I have taken it to this particular level, and now like a nest I'll be just putting on top of this, right? This is the gravy that I have made in the morning to show you guys. What I have done is, from the gravy that I had made, I have strained out the gravy, and I've got this lovely thick solution of the gravy, right? See how thick it is. I didn't put any corn flour or any thickening agent. As the fish curry cooks, it will start thickening up. The coconut milk also helps to thicken the particular curry. So can you see how thick the curry is? It's quite like a sauce, right? So I'm adding to one side of the right? Right? Once I've done that, this is curry leaf oil that I've made. I have blanched the curry leaves, and in a mixer or a blender you can add in some oil and then strain it in a muslin cloth, and you'll get up this curry leaf oil, right? So this will give the flavor of the curry leaves. Also, a leaf of the curry leaf. And this is how I've plated for a fine dining restaurant. The same Alleppey fish curry, but defined in a different way. I have tried to attempt this way of plating, which you can get in a fine dining restaurant. You can also try to give that extra touch to your any ordinary curry, and that gives you so much happiness. This is what is my style, and also I've shown you another way, the rustic way of a fish curry, which can be served with rice. Mostly the Keralites have it with this brown rice, the brown boiled rice, which goes very well with it. So this is my take on the Alappuya raw mango fish curry. I hope everybody liked it, and thank you so much to view my Instagram live.
So Sneha, there are a lot of questions while you were actually plating, so let me go back and ask a few questions that they had very quickly. So one was, can we also add some vegetables in the same curry, as it looks very yummy?
So you can add vegetables, like you can add drumsticks, or you can add this what I can say, you get this long brinjal which is green in color. You can add that. Drumsticks goes very well. That's what I can, or you can add potatoes if you want. Yeah, you can add potatoes if you want.
Even Anil says hi. He says unfortunately it's Shravan time. Once again, what's the fish that you have used?
In which the plating out here?
Yes.
This is called the tilapia fish. It's called the jalebi fish if you can get it in Hindi. I just googled out to find out what is the Hindi name for this fish. It is called as the jalebi fish. So I filleted out this particular fish. They gave me a whole fish. I filleted out. I've kept the skin on. And what I've done is, in a hot pan, to get this crispy skin, I just sprinkle a little bit of salt into it to take out the moisture. And then once the moisture is out, I've taken that particular fillet of fish on a hot pan, skin side down, just press it and keep it for some time. So the whole skin of the fish will crisp up. Give it some time. You don't flip the fish enough. Give it some time till you see that the skin has actually crisped up, and then you flip it over for another 1 minute or so to cook the flesh of the fish, right? So this is how I've made that thing. So thank you everybody, and I need to take this opportunity to even wish my dad, who has been watching, happy birthday to you, Dad. And this is an ode to you. Thank you so much.